Asylum seekers wait for an interview at the pedestrian crossing on the west side of the port of entry in San Ysidro. It's called PedWest. They are put on a waiting list and obtain a number from U.S. Customs and Border Patrol. It might be weeks or months before they are called. On the days they may be called, they show up in the plaza to wait for the interview. Those waiting in the plaza today are mostly not from the Caravan. If the Caravaners have even applied, their interview won't be for weeks or even months. You can come here on any day, Caravan or not, and there will still be several dozen asylum seekers waiting. Some of these folks are from all over the world. They come to Mexico, and Mexico often just gives them a transit visa directly to our border. Those on the waiting list can check in and see when their number is about to come up and show up at the plaza at the right time to wait their turn. I have heard that only about a third of those that apply pass the initial interview and screening. You see a lot of children here because families with children are most likely to be approved for asylum. Those who jump the border illegally and request asylum cut ahead of the others in line. If they have children and are not screened within 20 days and there is no government-approved facility for the children, they are released into the interior under the Flores Agreement. You can imagine that it is very demoralizing for our Border Patrol agents to do the dangerous hard work of capturing illegals, only to have them released a few days later into the interior. Those who apply at the port of entry and pass the initial screening are given a court date and a green card and are also released into the U.S. with a work permit. Of course, many do not show up for the court date 4 or 5 years later. This is probably why Trump has been saying the law is stupid. The largest refugee site is the Benito Juarez Sports Facility. About half of the currently 6,000 refugees are at this site. The rest are scattered around Tijuana. This encampment is about a mile from the U.S. port of entry and just across the street from the border fence. You can see the border fence in the background in some of these scenes, as in this one. There are many fit young men here. If thousands of them decide to rush the port of entry or the border fence, it would be very difficult to handle. On the bright side of all this, the controversy that the Caravan is generating is causing people to focus on the problems in the law and try to fix them. Even when there is no Caravan, there are many people showing up at the border every day trying to take advantage of these flaws in the law to gain entry to the U.S. without being properly screened and approved. In addition to these things, the criteria for who gets asylum is too loose and needs to be narrowed significantly. Trump could likely do this also by executive action. Radical progressives have weaponized the flaws in the asylum law, and it needs to be fixed. They advertise these loopholes in the law to poor people in Central America to motivate them to take advantage of it. If the law is not fixed, the number of people coming, not just from Central America, but from all over the world, is just going to grow larger and larger. It is a real threat to our sovereignty.
Igual preguntando, les van a dar indicación.
I asked the cowboy, and he said he's from Baja. Could be quite a few of these people who are local and have joined the Caravan. This guy doesn't look like a Central American either and doesn't want his video taken. They even have a white flag ready to surrender to the Border Patrol as soon as they jump the border.